In today's weather forecast, we're going to be talking about a nice stretch of relatively calm weather across the United States. After a small outbreak of severe storms and even a few tornadoes across the South on November 20th, a much more stable, although frigid air mass is moving in. This cold air will set the stage for some snowfall in a lot of places as well. To begin today's outlook, let's see when this cold air is going to be moving in. Starting this off today, November 22nd, we can see that this cold air has already started to intrude. You will notice that the temperatures will warm up nicely by this afternoon for much of the high plains. But as we head into tonight, this cold air will just keep on coming in. Thursday's high temperatures will be cold for much of the country, with really only the southern areas being warmer. This trend continues on Friday, with an Arctic cold front really making progress across the north, with much of the northern plains, northern Rockies, and Midwest staying in the 20s and 30s for high temperatures. By the weekend, the temperatures will remain cold, with far southern areas still holding onto that warmer air. Then by next week, which would be November 26th into the 30th, we may see another wave of cold air moving in, which could reinforce the frigid air across the north. Then by the time we reach December, which is really far out, we could start seeing a warming trend start back up, which of course will be talked about in a future forecast if needed. For now, this is the latest Climate Prediction Center's forecast for November 27th into December 1st, and you can see here that cold air is favored across much of the central and eastern US, with really only parts of the west and northwest possibly seeing warmer than normal temperatures. Some of the most below normal temperatures appear possible from Texas into the Great Lakes and Mid-Atlantic, so that's going to be an area to watch for especially. With cold air settling in for much of the country, that also means that rainfall won't be staying as liquid precipitation, which brings us to the next part of this forecast: who will see snow? Our first system will be the most intense one, and it's currently just now entering the northwest. It won't change too much between today and tomorrow, but by November 24th it looks to increase significantly in size, dropping some decent snowfall totals across the Rockies and parts of western Nebraska. By the 25th it will shift further south, becoming centered over Colorado and New Mexico. By the evening of the 25th we will reach a turning point in this storm. It will finally break away from the mountains and accelerate into Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska by the evening and nighttime hours. We could have a full-blown snowstorm ongoing for places like Wichita, Kansas, eventually Topeka, Kansas, and then Kansas City, Missouri by the nighttime. This will be a fast mover, so it will reach the Midwest by the morning of the 26th, and then reaching the Great Lakes by the evening. You will also notice some new snow showers moving in from Canada, which is associated with that second cold blast I talked about earlier. This will collide with the existing snowfall event and create a mess of snow showers across the upper Midwest and the interior Northeast by November 27th. Even after this system departs on November 27th and the 28th, the snow isn't done. And this is because that very intense cold blast could spark a lake effect snowstorm, which could cause snow to just continue in these bands for at least a couple more days. But before this lake effect snowstorm happens, I'm looking towards the Rockies, primarily around Wyoming, Idaho, and western Colorado, where we could see up and over a foot of snowfall, especially in the mountains. Then the heavier snow will shift into Nebraska, Kansas, and maybe northern Oklahoma when that system flies right off into the plains. The snowfall potential will then extend across the plains and Great Lakes as it accelerates into this region and merges with a new storm. That's going to be all for today's forecast. If you enjoyed this video, definitely consider subscribing for more detailed but quick weather forecasts for the United States and Europe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.